Hey, this is Tommy from surprisingly sunny California at the moment. Can you hear me?
Tommy from surprisingly sunny Southern California.
Middle, but that's close enough. Actually, so I constantly hear, like, whenever we have these mass shootings or there's some horrifying incident with guns, there's always the Republican comes out and does this whole, like, well, you're just scared of, like, assault rifles. No, you're scared of this kind of gun entirely. So it's like, dude, and there's always this, like, well, what are the definitions that we're putting forward? Well, why not just open up civil and criminal liability to gun manufacturers for the misuse of their guns? Why not just do that? It'll scale up with whatever the technology turns into. Like, oh, sorry.
No, I agree with you totally. I mean, I think that's. I think I was saying this. I was on Pete Dominic's show, and I really, as far as I can tell, civil and criminal liability may be the only way that we have to get any change in what's happening with guns in this country. Because if it's one thing to say that everyone has a right to carry a gun, but that doesn't mean that you have a right to manufacture a gun that makes it easy for people to be killed.
If I was a car manufacturer and I made cow catchers called hobo rams, I would be held kind of liability for that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And, you know, I think we can get somewhere down the road with that. I mean, that's why I also think that, like, yeah, I appreciate the call. I mean, I you know, like, when you think about where, you know, I mean, the reality is the vast majority of deaths by gun in this country are suicides. I mean, it could be up to 2 or 3 times in any given year. The number of people who die, if it's 40,000 a year that die from gunshot, you know, almost 30,000 will be suicides. And the efficacy of guns for people committing suicide is extremely high, as you would imagine. Waiting periods would help with that. Making it more complicated to shoot a weapon. Anything that would inconvenience the use of a gun, I think, would have some effect. The more of an inconvenience, the better. But also, the sales of weapons that make it, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the theory would be in terms of liability, in terms of, like, suicides. But the bottom line is these gun manufacturers do this because they want to make a lot of money, and they do. And anything that would inhibit the way they sell guns because it will cost them money is a positive thing in my estimation.
Sam, how do you think that could move forward, given, what was it, the liability shield law that passed under the Bush administration? Like, wouldn't I mean, that kind of be the same obstacle to? Well,
I would get rid of that law. That's where I would start.
But, like, what's more like? I mean, it's just almost like both seem like dead ends with the filibuster, both passing gun legislation and repealing it.
Yeah, I don't know how you would repeal that liability without having 60 senators. But it's not inconceivable to me that there might be an opportunity to do some filibuster reform if the Democrats take back the House. We talk about that all the time. It's not inconceivable. More so with what we have now in terms of, you know, Republicans and Democrats, but that's how it would have to happen. Western Mass, while. I mean, it seems to me there's also could be an argument, like, let's let the states decide, right? Like,
I know
they won't go for that. But
your argument is sound. It's just that, like, just the same obstacles of the Senate are in place for this, that they, you know.